Whenever India reaches an economic milestone, be it the 3 trillion GDP mark or at present the 4 trillion, or surpassing UK or Japan, instantly detractors will jump in quoting per capita income, Gini coefficient, middle income trap, all these just to demean the sense of achievement. Their iota of knowledge more or less ends there because these are mostly expressions of political jealousy and not real economics. We know that we don't have all the best of the parameters, but at least now we are discussing about GDP, economy, per capita, and comparing ourselves with the so-called successful nations like Japan, US, Germany, China, etc. But then the next counter question comes, well, all these are macro level events. What about the poor? Here it is. We have doubled our per capita income in the last 10 years. It was around $1,400 to $1,500 in 2013 and 14, and now it is almost $3,000 adjusted to current prices. So, who is answerable to this fact that it took 60 plus years just to reach the 1500 mark and then just 10 years to double it? And all these have happened without blowing up the economy with excess of debt. We have one of the lowest debts among the major economies. Just because India surpassed Japan's economy, the detractors started to blabber that Japan's per capita GDP is 10 times that of India. Well, it is a fact. But what they don't tell you is that the per capita debt of India is just $1,400 and that of Japan is $75,000. That is a 50 times more debt. Let us understand what it means by looking at this chart. This chart shows the top 10 economies in a descending order of debt to GDP ratio. That is, how much debt the nation has taken compared to 100 units of the GDP numbers. The highest is Japan with 263%. Reason? With an unproductive aging population, it needs heavy debt to sustain its economy because old people are losing the ability to work. Then you have nations like Italy having slow growth, UK due to Brexit, and then US with huge interest payments and deficits, and even China with heavy infrastructure expenditure and government borrowing. What will happen if we expand our debt portfolio rapidly? Instantly the economy will grow higher. Per capita income will rise rapidly, but at the cost of excess debt. Imagine you have 5 credit cards and you end up spending fullest using all the cards. Instantly your purchasing power will jump manifold. Your financial metrics will change. But then when the honeymoon period is over with the purchases and it's time for payback, either you end up paying excess of interest or you simply go bankrupt. Same thing can happen for a nation. You should grow big, but be sustainable first. Now comes, after the per capita income, what about the poor? Again, here it is. As a nation, we have managed to bring out 400 plus million people out of poverty in the last 10 to 15 years. 400 million is a number which is bigger than the population of America and half the population of Europe. Poverty in India is an effect of centuries of colonization, destruction of societies, loot and plunder. It is a deep structural problem. But let me ask, why it took 60 plus years for the Indian state just to initiate the process of bringing people out of poverty? Why it took so long just to start the actual process and not just rhetorics? When an economy grows, it's not just that there are more goods and services produced, or there are more jobs. There is another interesting thing that unfolds. The entire leverage of the nation increases. Think of it like a business and compare it with that of a nation. Where the business and turnover of a company grows with sustainable profit, it becomes large and prominent from the previous small sector. Its sustainability to do business and hard negotiations grow enormously. It can take strategic risk and invest in new ventures. It can look after its employees in a better way. The same thing happens with a nation. The size of the economy is directly proportional to all kinds of hard negotiating powers that a nation needs with its interaction with the world. And also, all the domestic economic schemes grow as allotted percentages of the growing economy, be it healthcare, education, infrastructure, agriculture, social security, and defense. Last but not least, the whole economic growth model of the so-called developed West after their colonial adventures is through extreme destruction of environment and excess of carbon footprint per capita. You want India to do the same, destroy the environment, burn up natural resources just to match their idea of development and reach their optimum statistics.